the fact that Jay Brown's initial plans or his budget plans were ineffective, useless, but he brings up no actual, how should I put this, alternatives. And that Jay Brown is also putting schools at some sort of hostage. But it's the fact that these continuing budget cuts were going to happen no matter what, no matter if his initiative is to pass. So the ones I stated about, let's see, for welfare, healthcare, and the elderly, those were going to happen no matter what. These are things that were unavoidable because of our current deficit, which has increased to $16 billion. And because of this, our deficit is much higher than anyone has expected. And because of that, Jay Brown's tax initiative is by far the best plan, because of any alternative either makes less money than his own plan, which has an estimated $7 to $9 billion in revenue, or the fact that they only focus on a particular area, which is the oil initiative will only increase money and revenues within K through 12 schools, or that the Molly Munger initiative will only go towards higher education, nowhere else in our deficit. So although they may earn some money, they won't go in the right places, and we will still have to make more cuts in such as welfare, elderly, and other places. So saying that the CSU cuts, or the CSUs are really being held at hostage is also a little bit misleading, because of the fact that the CSUs are actually with Jay Brown. They have formed together with him and have agreed upon his own pact. Same with also Molly Munger's, and that's because, of course, hers is directly towards the CSUs. But it's the fact that PTAs and the Cal State universities are actually agreeing with Jay Brown, and that they need his initiative. And his initiative, of course, is that the higher classes pay more and the increased sales tax, as my partner had previously stated. So the tuition increases just next year are going to be about 9%, and there could be an increase during mid-year if we don't have the initiative passed. And the thing is, of course, as my partner pointed out, there will be less enrollment because of if the initiative is not passed, and all Cal States agree that they just cannot afford more students. So it says that the amount of taxpayers affected, or I guess not really amount, but that many people are affected by this, but the fact is only 3% of maximum taxpayers are affected by this initiative in the sense of tax or income tax revenue. And that's because, or I guess already stated, and the revenues for this would be about $7.9 billion already by just the upper class. And the competing ballots, if we have more competing ballots, though, it would decrease the chances of any of them being passed. As stated by Steve Grazer, who is part of this Jay Brown Association, he said that if more than one option of voters or is for voters, it will decrease the likelihood of either to actually pass. So with more initiatives against the Jay Brown, which is, of course, I would say the best option, they would only make it so either none pass, or if they vote out, at least we'll have one, which would be a greater option. And let's see. To point out why Jay Brown's initiative is better than the other plans, the Molly Munger plan would only put a tax on those, again, similar to the Jay Brown initiative, of those with $250,000 incomes or higher. And that it will be a higher increase, and it will also be for until the year 2024. So that's a 12 years of increase tax. And the Jay Brown initiative will only last until about 2016 with sales tax, and about around the same time, I believe, for the income tax revenue. And a majority of polls have agreed that the Molly Munger initiative is actually, I guess, worse, because according to two Jim Moore polls and a poll by the LA Times, 60% or more people oppose the highest leading bill, I guess, that would oppose the Jay Brown initiative. And that, of course, the sales tax, again, saying that ours is also the highest, but doesn't mean it would necessarily affect us with only a 0.25% increase. And seeing as how our sales tax was actually higher at one point at about 8.25%, but if we were to increase by 0.25% now, it would only increase to 0.75% as we had decreased it more recently. And that, finally, I'd like to make a small rebuttal against our opponents who said that no one saw the cuts coming in unemployment and how it wouldn't decline as slow as it is right now, and that our math was faulty, but brings, of course, no proof of his own to this, so it brings a point with no actual proof. And that's all I have to say.